Okay, you want?
What do you mean?
All right, y'all, we're gonna get started in like 10 seconds.
Okay. Thank you.
Phone battery charge? See? I told you, man. I'll be saving the day.
Saving the day, that's how you get it done. Well, hey, I am so excited for this week's episode, y'all. I have two phenomenal folks that are going to be talking a lot about some things related to things that we've discussed in the past and hopefully we'll get into in the future. Fantasia and Austin McGuffie. Listen, y'all, I think that both of them are superstars.
Oh.
Let me just go ahead and say that, not just individually, but collectively, for what they represent as family folks, as entrepreneurs, and what we'll find out today related to building generational health, the origin story behind their newest initiative, their newest projects, and things that they'll be doing in the future. But first and foremost, let me continue to welcome folks to this particular platform, this interview series, because we know that, from the start of this conversation, we've been talking about how really successful people have been very candid about how they are pivoting in their space. And while we all have learned a lot from folks that have come on this platform and talked through many different things, personal, business related, and everything in between, these two folks here are going to walk us through their journey, their path, and how they pivoted along the way. So I'm really excited to have you both, Austin and Fantasia, here with me today. And so
thanks for having us.
No, all good. Now I've known Fantasia for 30 plus years, Austin. I know that we met through Fantasia, right? But way back in my Greenbrier, Bunnybrook Drive, Campbellton Road days, I used to be best friends with Fantasia's brother. Shout out to Toriano. People don't call him Toriano.
No, they don't.
Yeah, he's now a celebrity. What's up, Tori? And so I'll be sure to tag him in the combo tags. But we used to play basketball, to baseball, to everything in between when I was splitting time between my parents' house and my grandmother's house. But Toriano and I go way back. Fantasia, I remember you as a little small kid running around trying to figure it out. And so while we didn't go together, I knew you back then. And so, Austin, it's been beautiful to get to know you as well, bumping into
Absolutely.
You at the gathering spot. But just in the mix, man. Like I said, I think y'all are superstars. I think we last saw y'all at Atlantic Station with the full family.
Yeah,
all of them.
Whole crew.
Oh
Keeping everybody in line too. I was like, man, the kids, they ain't going too far, running away from the place. A good system.
Because they know we'll leave them. That's why.
That's what's up. And so let's really start there, right? So y'all are. I recently got married, and when I think of families in our community, man, like I really get excited to see y'all and being very transparent about growing a large family, because how many kids do y'all have?
We have 4.
Y'all have 4, so y'all got a full-size family, rocking and rolling. And so let's talk a little bit about that, growing in the space as a family, going from 1 to 4. Share with us their age ranges and just being family folks, man. Let's start from there, then we'll go into entrepreneurship, your journey into that, and we'll talk primarily about building generational health. So I'll give the floor to y'all.
All right, cool. So, hi, I'm Fantasia, and this is Austin. As Greg said, we have been married for 7.5 years, and I say the half because I feel like it matters. Like in marriage, every month matters.
Every day matters.
But no, we've been married for 7.5 years, and ironically, we have a 7.5-year-old son. So you just put those, 2 things together, and
we figure out why we got married.
Indeed.
No, seriously. It's been a great journey over, that time. We have 4 children. They are, you want to say the ages?
Yeah, so 7, 5, 3, and 1.
Yep.
7, 5, 3, and 1.
Yep. So every 2 years we were having a kid.
Yeah.
But we are done with that, completely done, and so thankful to have them, but also thankful to move on to another, phase in our life when we can really focus on, birthing a business and not a whole child. But we love them. We love being together as a family, doing things. I mean, that's mostly what our lives are. revolved around. You know, it's taking the kids to school, picking them up, doing this, doing that. It's feeding them. It's really about them. We just get a little bit of time to focus on the things that we're passionate about. But it's really cool because what we're passionate about goes right along in line with our family. So we are, you know, in the health and wellness space, and we wouldn't know any of what we know without applying it to our own family first.
Good. Right. Good. To us, and then our family. Yeah.
Now, how large is your family now, Austin? Because you've got a large family, it appears, as well. I've seen, you know, just through social media, the mob, man. Y'all got a large family just in coming together, right?
It's a crew. I got 5 brothers. So I grew up in Long Beach, California. And
shout out to Long Beach.
Yes, sir. We've been out here for 15 years now. So I moved here at 13. We've been here for 15. So I can officially pretty much say I'm from Atlanta now. The only thing I don't have is I don't have shawty in my vocabulary.
Yeah, we can work on that. we can work on that, man. But you got 2 certified Atlantans now. Fantasia really gonna certify you, right? But you got, and people like me, you add to the culture. You don't take away.
Exactly. He's just not from the West Side. He came here from California and moved to Clayton County. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm South Side.
Okay. Shout out to the South Side. Some South Side people that check in with us from time to time.
That's what's up.
But he comes from a big family of 8. And everybody jokes because they're like, yeah, so we're just waiting on the 2 more, you know, that you guys have to add just to be like his parents. And I'm like, they're great parents, but we don't have to be that much like them.
Right.
Yeah. How has that dynamic in this season when it comes to, you know, education, when it comes to things that you all were used to and getting together? I know it's been impacting a lot of families, especially when your family might be local. How's that impacted you guys?
Hard at first. I think you mean because of COVID?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah. So it was hard. It was really hard at first because, you know, you didn't really know like what to expect. And everybody, and so his brothers, 2 of them just had babies. So they had literally had newborns when COVID first, you know, started, when everything first shut down. And so they have been very, you know, protective of their babies naturally, just like we are, you know, with our first babies. So we haven't been able to gather as a family as much. We have tried to, you know, like wear masks, and we've seen everybody a couple of times, but we're really, really family oriented people. So that was like a big difference, you know, for us. But then having our own family ourselves with the 4 kids, like, it was cool, but you know, we really need babysitters. Like, if I can be honest.
You putting the ad out there?
Okay, yeah, kind of, sort of. But
now,
no,
listen, the 1 to 7 range, that's a wide range. I mean, I can imagine.
Exactly.
You know, who runs the show? Which one runs the show?
It's always the youngest, just because they're the neediest. You know, everything that we, you know, the youngest, you gotta do special things with their food. You gotta prevent them from killing themselves. It's like a full-on like mission to keep them alive until they turn 7, and then it's like, all right, cool, I can breathe now.
Yeah.
It's going to be beautiful as people kind of continue to plug into you guys' journey as you continue to build your narrative. You know, the friends that I know that have kids and how my friends have evolved as their kids have gotten more mature and older. It really, really is a beautiful thing. You know, Shani and I talk about it all the time, and so we look forward to it naturally, just like everything else, man. So
it completely changes you, you know, as a person. I mean, we got married young, so I was 21. I was 21 when we got married, so I was already young, but then I was made a father at 21. And
you made yourself.
I made myself a father. Okay. We became parents at the young age of 21. I was 21.
I was 25.
Yeah.
No, I was 24.
Cougar lifestyle. So at the young age of 21, and now I'm 29. So not only was I being molded as a parent, but just becoming a man at the same time, you know, it just changes you completely. So, you know, God willing, when you guys do eventually, you know, have your first child, I mean, you'll experience it firsthand, like the way you look at the world is just through a completely different lens. And it's a beautiful thing, like she said.
Also, let's talk about that. I mean, when it comes to being a young father, now having 4 children total, you know, how has that been? I mean, and I don't want to paint it as a broad question, but you know, for those folks that are thinking about starting a family, you know, as maybe a young father, you know, what insight would you, you know, if you had to give a theme to how you navigated through everything, what would that be?
Just be flexible
Be
and
flexible.
patient. Yeah, flexible and patience, man. Patient with your kids, but more so patient with yourself. I can think of a particular story when our oldest was 1 year old, and we lived in Atlanta at the time, and Fantasia was in school and she left for the day, and I'm having to like feed him a bottle. I'm 21 years old. So he's like throwing his head all over the place, rejecting the bottle. And I'm like, fool, like if you're hungry, you're gonna put your mouth around this bottle. But you know, my
sense,
words,
right?
yeah, it just made too much sense. So anyway, he's like tripping, and then I get frustrated. So then I dropped the bottle. I tried to catch the bottle, and then, you know, I dropped the baby trying to get the bottle. And he didn't fall on the floor. He fell on the kitchen counter. So he like bumped his head, and I caught him. But in that moment, like I just think back to that and like how I am now, and that same situation, it wouldn't faze me at all. Only because I've become more patient over time. So being patient and being flexible is the biggest thing. But I grew up with a dad in the home, thankfully, which has been a blessing for me and all 5 of my brothers. So fatherhood itself is just something that it just kind of comes naturally. You know, Fantasia and I, we share pretty much all the responsibilities when it comes to the kids. And that's because that's what I saw growing up. So it's just something that it's an expectation that I have of myself to be active, to be present, to be, you know, just to set the tone in the morning as far as everybody's mood, just the whole nine. It's just a responsibility, you know?
That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now in the morning in the McGuffie household, who's managing the soundtrack? Fantasia, are you managing the soundtrack in the morning?
For sure.
Maybe not. A little bit.
100%.
Yes.
That's 100% her. I can't.
Like, because you just said in the morning, you set the tone in the morning.
No, the mood, the energy, the atmosphere.
When you wake up.
Yeah, I mean, do y'all have like the Earth, Wind and Fire blasting?
You mean like a literal soundtrack?
Yeah. I mean, and it doesn't have to be music. It could be
just we have a pretty it's become more peaceful in the mornings, but it gets kind of hectic. If we wake up before them like we're supposed to, then it's pretty cool. Right. But it's pretty hectic. Like we have to drop to our children are in school, and I know you said something about like how we were navigating education and all that during COVID. So two of our kids are in a it's like a micro school or private school, if you will, where they are based on a model of self-directed education. Okay. And we love their school. So when it was time to decide to send them back or not, we were just really hopeful and, you know, and just had a lot of faith that things would work out. And so we actually they've had no cases up there. It's been great. Okay. And it's great for our children. We're thankful for the opportunity that it's there. Okay. So, you know, we're rushing to get to school. We drive 30 minutes to take our kids to school. And so it's a hustle. And then we drop our two little ones off, excuse me. But yeah, in the morning, it's a lot. When I get in the car and I'm finally like, okay, like I can breathe, like that's the best time. And I let them, we make it fun. So I make it fun. They don't like to ride with Austin to school in the morning because I let them choose songs. And so we just go around and, you know, by the time they choose like 8 songs, we're at school.
Austin, what are you playing? Are you playing like some West Coast stuff, some old school?
No, man, I gotta set my mind for the day. So I'm just like, listen, y'all, just everybody meditate and think about how awesome the day is gonna be so that I could think. So everybody meditates on my car ride.
Yeah. But other than that, he's probably playing stuff that I don't let them listen to.
Probably, yeah.
Austin has an expectation that you ride in silence and meditate.
I try my best. They still be arguing and stuff, but like I need silence. I gotta have silence.
Our parenting styles are different, but they come together. We've learned over the years, how to balance that.
I'm gonna be talking to you about that, Austin, man. You know, the principles behind meditation in the car ride. I can only imagine, bro. I don't know why it's so funny to me, man.
I'm gonna record it one day. I got you.
Please, and share it and tag me. So let's switch gears a little bit because I want folks to, before we get to building generational health, another endeavor that you all are doing, you all believe in entrepreneurship and pivoting in and around entrepreneurship. How has that journey led into your current initiative? And let's walk a little bit maybe into, your successes, your opportunities, and things related to entrepreneurship as you build this family and create this narrative for your legacy.
Right.
Cool. So we've been on this journey of entrepreneurship since also I was like 19. I remember supporting him in his first pitch competition at Georgia State. That's where we both went to college. And he won what'd you win, $500, I think?
$250.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Oh man, well, $250 at the pitch competition.
Hey, I was a Georgia
State. Right. We were so excited about that. And so that was his first venture. He had a business partner. Eventually that didn't pan out or whatever. And how entrepreneurship is, it's just a journey. So then he started, I'm gonna let you tell your story too. You can tell the good part. So I'm just leading up to that.
Okay.
Then he started, his dad opened a car dealership. It wasn't in person. He didn't have a lot, but he basically, he opened a car dealership.
Concierge car service.
Right. That sounds so much fun. And so Austin ran that for a year or so. And then he's always been a licensed health insurance agent. So he dibbled and dabbled in that a little bit. But then in the year 2016, he met someone who talked him into.
Talked me into. Let me tell the story because you're about to have me looking crazy.
Hey, look, it was pretty impressive. I was like, "This Fantasia go."
I was about to stop there anyway.
She was about to start throwing shade. Look, so in 2016, we opened a trampoline park via somebody that I met who lived in Statesboro. So this is a big 120,000 square foot warehouse with $300,000 worth of trampoline equipment. And it was a big deal. So we raised about $1.2 million prior to opening it, and we spent every penny of it. We hired just above 50 employees. It was a really big deal. And it was going very well. So this was March. We opened in March of 2017. And the first month we made $86,000. So that was just super dope. We thought we were going to be rich. We were looking at mansions. When
he says we, he means he and his business partner.
Yeah, we were. Anyway, looking at mansions, I had my Tesla priced out, all this stuff. So then the next month after that, we made $65,000. And then we made $50,000 and $40,000 and $30,000. And then revenue kept on dropping. Expenses stayed the same. And eventually we were losing about $20,000 a month. So we went from making a lot of money to losing a lot of money within a 6-month time frame. We're seeking investments from partners, and it was just a huge mess. So long story short, we lost all the money that we invested, and all of our partners lost their money. It was an extremely tough time for us, right?
Yeah, it was.
We got through it though.
We did. So that was 2017. Through that, we moved our family. At the time, we had 3 children. We moved to Statesboro for this venture, and left our support system. And Statesboro, for those who don't know, is an hour and a half away. I think 2 hours, 3 hours.
From where?
I'm sorry, from here.
3 hours.
It's 3 hours from Atlanta. So we moved down there, and it was a really, really tough season for us, especially for obviously for business, but for marriage too, because we had never navigated anything like that before. But at the same time, we just clung to our faith more than ever at that time, and that was it sustained us basically. And there was a lot into it. When he says partners, I mean, he literally means his parents, his brothers. These are people that were close to us who trusted us and gave us money and then lost it, So I think going back to having that strong family unit is so important. And I don't know how many other families are really like this, because sometimes money really comes in between you, but that was a whole just healing process and all of that for everybody to for him really to forgive himself, because you know the weight of that is really heavy.
You mentioned the word healing is a interesting one. You know, I think that when entrepreneurs go through these valleys and peaks, and it's really a lifestyle, right? And you know, taking the plunge into entrepreneurship and the healing process internally, externally, for those people that are closest to you, transactionally, whether it be in you know, purely business or transactional when it comes to investors, you know, that healing process is important, because it's the same type of trust. Now the risk might be different, but it's the same type of trust that you have, you know, that links you to people that you love, right?
Right. Yeah, that's exactly it. So, but the funny thing about healing is everybody wants to heal, but nobody wants to hurt. And you can't have the heal without the hurt. So the hurt, it allowed us to go through the healing process, and through healing comes learning, and from learning comes improvement. So it's kind of like building muscle. It's, you know, in order to build muscle, you have to tear the muscle. And then when you tear the muscle, you put the right nutrients in it, and then you heal the muscle, then it comes out stronger and bigger, and then you're able to lift more weight. And that's what our entrepreneurship journey, if we had to make it a metaphor, I would totally relate it to being in the gym, because we have a lot of different failures along the way to where we are now. And now, because of what the hurt of the process was and the healing that was involved, we're now able to lift up this mission that, you know, that we're on now.
That's a beautiful transition, man. And so let's talk about building generational health. There was something I saw where the areas of access, education, and accountability. Well, let's first off tell folks about building generational health and how you landed on, would you call those 3 pillars of the business? Okay. Tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, so.
Well, let me say, tell us a lot about it.
Okay. So building generational health, or as we call it sometimes, it's just BGH, is really, it's a social enterprise that, as you said, focuses on access, education, and accountability for individuals and families. But we really, we think that good health is everyone's birthright. And we've made it our mission to help people like reclaim that. So we focus on passing down good genes, you know, from a health perspective.
Oh,
sorry,
my bad. So yeah, passing down good genes from a health perspective.
So silly, man.
Not just for the generations to come after you, but for you yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have a lot of life to live too, and we want to do it in an optimal way. And the only way that we can live fulfilled and optimal life is by having the health to sustain it. So, you know, how we help people have access, education, and accountability is through training. So basically through Fantasia's nutrition coaching and my fitness coaching, we provide a holistic approach to health and wellness. And it started out with me being interested in training, like personal training. Like, I just wanted to help everybody get muscles. And then Fantasia was uncomfortable with it because she was like, well, what if somebody wants like a fatty and you got to teach her how to, like, you know.
I did not say all that, but that was the whole process within itself. And we can talk about that on part 2 of this podcast.
She didn't want me to help.
We do virtual training for part of that reason.
Okay.
So that was like the interest at first. But Fantasia has always had an interest in nutrition, how the body works. And it's just so crazy how it came together, because my interest in fitness didn't materialize until after the failure of the Trampoline Park. And so after that happened, I was looking for something to cling to basically build up my own self-worth. And that's what it was. And that's why we just believe that the mission that we're on now, even the failure that happened, was all, it
was a setup.
It was purposeful. Basically, it's 100% purposeful. And it led us to where we are now. So that now Fantasia's nutrition coaching and my health, my fitness coaching, basically through proper nutrition and adequate exercise, you can heal your body of so many different chronic illnesses that are currently plaguing the world, and specifically our community.
Yeah.
So
the access.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that we know that it's just not about, so the accountability is like our training, but we know that it's not that simple, right? It's not like, oh, just sign up for training. Well, a lot of people who need the training and the coaching can afford it. So then that's where the access comes from. And then that's where the education. So you can't change your body, you know, for the better if you don't understand. So our program is not just, you know, I don't want to say, like, not to throw shade on anybody else's program, but it's not your typical like training program. It's where, okay, if you don't have the, you know, we're starting a foundation to get proper funds so that we can put a lot of people through our training, whether you have the money or not. And then it's like, okay, well, the education piece, like when we coach our clients, it's like, I'm always like, do you understand? Like, do you know what a calorie is? Do you know if you're pre-diabetic, do you know what that means? Do you know how that's working in your body? You know, so we try to help them through interactive courses. We're like building things, it's like animated characters, and we're just really trying to break it down so that we as a community can understand.
Right.
Just all about the body, you know. There's so many ways that we can heal ourselves that aren't really being talked about. And we want to share that message. It's so important.
As a part of the training and coaching component, when we talk about healing with your clients and with folks that you all are helping on a daily basis, has there been, you know, a mental health component and conversation around a lot of that stuff as well? And if so, can you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, mental health. It's like Austin said, when he started his fitness journey, it was all mental, you know, and I don't think he really understood how fitness would be his therapy. And I was very supportive of him going to the gym, you know, and doing all that he did, because I knew that he came home happier, you know, and he built he had confidence. So in the beginning of our training programs, yes, we do talk about like mental health, and some clients need that a lot more than others, you know. So with our one-on-one coaching, we're able to really talk about people like, what's going on in your life that's causing you stress, and like, what are some ways that you can relieve that? Because if you're stressed out, it really does, like, what you're putting in your body matters, but your body isn't even processing it correctly because you're experiencing so much stress. So we definitely talk about that.
Very good, very good. I saw you guys, you know, in talking about preventative stuff related to training and coaching. I saw a very, very cool session y'all were hosting with seniors. So it was, you know, this fitness event that y'all were hosting, and the seniors were getting busy. Man, I wanted to jump up, right?
It was fun. It was fun. We did that back in March, and that was, unfortunately, like, COVID happened, and then we had to shut that down. But hopefully we can bring it back, you know, like in a safe way. But those seniors, they were really, you know, we say seniors, it was like 65 and up. They were really dedicated to their health, and it's so cool to see that, you know.
For folks that have aging parents or aging loved ones, you know, for not just enrolling in your program, you know, that's for folks watching and that will watch, you know, certainly plug into what they're offering. What's some of the initial advice or questions that, you know, I should be asking my dad or, you know, my aunts, you know, what, helping us kind of navigate through those conversations? What's kind of gateway advice that y'all give people like me?
Right. So I can speak from, not just because I deal with seniors. I've dealt with seniors for a long time by selling insurance, but my parents are 55 and, you know, obviously getting older, as we all are. And I'm on their case all the time. And the biggest things are, you know, when was the last time you saw your doctor? How did your, you know, results look? Was there anything that your doctor was concerned about? How are you eating? You know, what type of foods are you eating? And then, are you active? Are you staying active? And it's really hard, especially for, you know, in our community. I know we kind of have a none of your business type thing when it comes to these topics. They're very sensitive for some people, especially because between 40 and 60% of the people in our community are dealing with chronic illnesses like high blood pressure or diabetes or obesity. And they're sensitive to the touch when you bring them up. So just approaching them from a position of being sincere and caring, it goes such a long way. Just continuing to inquire and to be in the know. So not to just come out of nowhere and be like, hey man, are you healthy? But I think the biggest thing is for you to be invested in their health.
Yeah, to walk the journey with them.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're talking about, oh, well, have you gone to the doctor? You know, depending upon how, I guess your parents are, whoever your loved one is, you know, like take them or take them grocery shopping, show them healthier options, cook with them.
Yep.
We think that like family, you know, cooking as a family and maybe sharing recipes. You know, my brother pops up at my grandma's house all the time trying to figure out how she cooks her greens, you know, or just even talking to them about maybe the way that they have always done stuff traditionally, like around Thanksgiving. You like maybe try to insert yourself, like cook some healthier options, bring them, you know. I mean, I feel like people laugh at me and joke with me, like if I bring the whatever, you know, like the macaroni.
Vegan mac and cheese.
It won't be vegan. We're not vegan, but
it'll
just be something different. Like I'm going to try to insert as much vegetable as I can, as many vegetables as I can. That's all. But basically having those conversations with them is so important. And, you know, we're not like anti-medication or anything like that because we know that it's necessary for some people, but there are other natural ways of doing things. And it just takes consistency and a little bit of research to do it, you know? So even, you know, if you're pre-diabetic, there are things that you can do to lower your insulin, your blood sugar. So.
How has it been with, you know, creating really good eating habits with your kids? You know, do you see that it's a difference between, you know, 3-year-old or 7-year-old? You know, how's that journey been?
It's been cool. Honestly, it's been a great journey. They are picky. We have like probably like 2 out of 4 that are picky, and it's something different like every day. But we started with our 7-year-old, with our first child. I started just feeding him healthy. Like I just learned, I kind of just got engulfed in all of that, you know, because it was my baby and I wanted to provide the best for him. Yes. And we only had one child and we could afford to buy organic everything, you know. Yes. But I made all of his baby food. You know, I nursed him for 12 months and, you know, I just did everything that I felt like was the best for him. And then we just kind of carried that along with each of our children. And, you know, we have certain rules in our house. Like I'm a big, like, when I say sugar free, like I'm anti-sugar, right? Okay. But Austin has like a sugar addiction. So we kind of have to have that balance, you know, and I feel like he's on board with not allowing the children to have so much sugar because he knows like what he goes through when it's like triggered. So that's kind of how we keep them healthy. And then when they go out, they can have cake and ice cream and candy or whatever, you know, and so they won't feel left out. But in our home, I don't buy it. You know?
So building generational health. Let's talk a little bit about like short-term goals, things that you want to see within the next 3 months. And I know that this longer journey around generational health, you know, the message that you want to continue to convey to folks. You know, what are some of those goals within the next 3 months? How do they apply to people that are, you know, watching and listening right now, and then let's transition into the long term.
Right. So short term, over the next fourth quarter for the rest of the year, we want to see people more invested in their health. If not for the generations coming after them, for themselves. Okay. So basically we do that through offering 3 different packages. One, which is a very hands-off approach to their physical health. And it's only like $15 a month. But basically we give them a workout plan. We give them a nutrition plan. We have a private Facebook community. And then we have a private heart rate monitoring community where we all wear heart rate monitors. Okay. And all of our activity shows up and we're able to encourage each other and hold each other accountable for workouts that we say we're going to accomplish. And then we have another plan that's $60 and it's a little more hands-on, okay. But the workouts are a little bit more detailed and the nutrition is a little more detailed, a little more accountability. And then we have one that's $200 and that's for someone who really desires to get their health under control. They might be currently experiencing high blood pressure, or they might be obese and they don't really know where to start. That program is for them. So for the next 90 days, what we like to see is just growth in our community, because growth in our community now feeds into our long-term vision. And that is twofold. One is we want to see everybody invested in building generational health. The same way that everybody is talking about generational wealth. We want to see people talking about generational health as much as people talk about trading Forex. I know you probably got invited by a lot of people to start trading Forex. We want people to invite people to build generational health with us. So then the other part of that is we want to offer our program for free. And that's why we're building a foundation, and we're going to be working with nonprofits and for-profits to raise money and to sponsor individuals who want to go through our process of helping them build generational health. Because like Fantasia said, we believe that everybody has a birthright to good health. And one of the things that is preventing people from accessing that is lack of capital. Sure. And we don't want to let that be an obstacle for people when we know that there are people out there willing to sponsor them to build the health that we know they deserve.
You know, when you talk about access being one of the pillars, right? And I think about some communities in Atlanta, we've been having this food desert conversation for decades. I want to plant that seed literally so we can come back to it. But I didn't want to gloss over this innovative idea around you guys not just offering packages and to your clients and people that will use your services, but this idea about community. You know, the communal piece where people are keeping each other accountable or being able to be transparent. I really think that's a good idea. I think that building community concept around what it is that you're talking about, I think that's a really innovative approach to it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So our initial vision for building generational health it wasn't about us, as far as Austin and I. It was we want this big network of people. So we offer a program to trainers. So we currently we're actively recruiting trainers to work alongside us to build generational health with us. In their local community. So right now, we have a trainer in Alabama, and we just envision it being really kind of globally, where we just all come together and host different events and, can collaborate about what our clients and, what our communities need.
And that's how we accelerate the community building, by having other health and wellness advocates do it with us, so that we're not doing it alone.
And it's not even competition. It's to your point. It makes you take the blinders off of, hey, we're all kind of competing with each other. We're really part of the same community. That's why I really like it. Really like it.
There's absolutely no competition. I mean, even as a personal trainer, when I see other people who are training individuals and I see that their clients are seeing results, man, that makes my heart warm just as if they were my own clients, because they took their health back under control. And that really means a lot to us. And what's cool about the community that we're building is the transformation pictures you see is not just about getting snatched. It's not just about looking good. Not that there's anything wrong with those things, because we're all vain to a certain degree, and we all have our own aspirations for how we want to look when we look in the mirror.
And people are telling me all the time, Greg, you look great, you're losing this weight. I was just on my grandmother's house earlier. They're like, yeah, you're slimming down,
It's real.
I'm trying to look a little better. I got to lose a little bit more.
And when you get to my house.
Austin, now I see you on social media. I see you look. I'm going to get there now. Hold on now.
And when you look good, you feel good, man. I speak to my wife differently. You know what I'm saying? I got that edge. I got a little bit more a little confident. But beyond that, man, there's just something that is hard to explain about waking up in the morning, knowing that my body is working how it's supposed to.
Awesome.
And everybody deserves to feel that way, man. And it's such an uphill battle because we're all so used to not feeling good. And it's difficult for us really pinpointing, like when we have dairy and our stomach is upset or we're feeling a little foggy. These are feelings that we've become accustomed to and that we've normalized in our lives, but there's answers to them. And through the education piece that Fantasia was speaking of, we want to help people understand that what you're feeling is you're not supposed to feel that way. You're supposed to have clarity. You're supposed to wake up with energy, and you're supposed to feel good. And those are the transformations that we like to see. We want to see blood pressures going down. We want to see cholesterol going down. We want to see people's vitamin D levels going up. So the transformation pictures that look great, like I'm all for that 100%, but we want to change people's lives.
Yeah.
And that's what we're building the community. That's the foundation that we're building the community on.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, how do y'all continue to motivate each other? Fantasia, it's one of those things where, Austin has his journey, you've got your journey. How do y'all continue to motivate each other on the daily?
I think the passion for entrepreneurship and just like our, what do I want to say, addiction in a good way to like innovation, it really like helps keep us connected. So, at this point in our life with BGH, we just kind of vibe different, and I guess that's because we've been through, I'm hip. We've just been through some stuff before, but now, I think he's interested when I say, I talk to him about all this nutrition stuff, like he's listening. And then when he talks to me about fitness and just the fact that we're like helping each other change people's lives is like enough to keep us going, or it's not about like a specific dollar amount or whatever. Like when we get texts from our clients or we see their, their stats, like their, weight going down or whatever, them reaching their goals, like that's awesome. We have better days because of that. And then when things are a little bit, more challenging, which they get, they get to that point sometimes, we push through it, we remember why we're doing what we're doing. We might vent to each other, but then that helps us. It helps our bond really.
Right. I think the biggest thing is like hyping each other up. I mean, I'll come home and I'll be like, hey, babe, you think my chest, like, they getting bigger, right? What you think? And she'll be like,
totally opposite what you said.
No, but that's what it is for me.
Okay.
How do you keep me going?
Gotcha.
It's encouragement. And I do the same thing for her. One of the big things that she's working on right now is healing her gut from some things that have been going on over the past several years. And, I don't do it to patronize you, but I make it a point to encourage her, like, hey, like, great job taking all the supplements that you're supposed to take. Because I know it's hard to be consistent taking vitamins.
Yeah, he didn't really think I would do it.
I didn't. But she did. She took all her vitamins, like, great job going to the gym. Like, okay, I see your legs getting a little bigger. Like, it's just that encouragement. It's like, okay, cool. Now I can keep going. That makes me, you know what I'm saying? I got the validation.
You'd be surprised. I mean, the couples that are watching this, whether married, not married, just got together, been together a long time, you'd be surprised how much people can learn from listening to y'all just talk about that.
Hey man, you better hype your significant other up.
Yeah,
for real.
But sometimes some women don't want you to talk to them about. Well, we made a post about that. How do you encourage? So also made a really good post on Instagram. It was probably like, I don't know, maybe like a month ago, but it was basically like, fellas, this is how you. What did you say? Support your spouse.
Yeah, on her fitness journey.
And the stuff that he said, it was not like, oh, go to the gym with her or, remind her to work out. It was like, wash the dishes, fold the clothes, like do the things that you don't necessarily equate to her having more of like mental freedom, and just being able to take care of herself. We talk about self-care all the time, but what are the steps for that woman to have that self-care? Because even if you don't have children, you're so busy working, but if you add kids on top of that, it's like, yeah, I want to take care of myself, but what does that even mean?
Mm-hmm.
So to have somebody who is there, like, by your side to encourage you to do those things and who like does their part is
Beautiful.
In the trenches.
So let's talk about food deserts a little bit. I planted to see a little bit earlier, but so access, for a lot of the community conversations that I have, whether it be with, it goes from just having food for sustenance, right, to surviving and thriving in the space, right. So for me, being in the civic rhythm for the last 10, 15 years, I've seen it so many different ways. When it comes to the expensive side of eating healthy, to just the sheer access in neighborhoods and communities, what are you guys' thoughts around food deserts? And is it a part of, not to say that y'all need to get political about it, but, is that a part of the long-term vision that y'all have for how you talk about the issues in the public policy space?
Yeah, for sure. So it's funny, you mentioned public policy. So my degree from Georgia State was in public policy.
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. So it's cool to be able to like just kind of partner the two, and so food deserts and access is like, it's one of our top priorities. I feel like, especially like for our foundation, even in Clinton County, you know, like we're like in a food desert over here. And I know definitely like on the west side, you know, of Atlanta. And so I would love to have those conversations and sit down with people to figure out how we can, you know, kind of solve that problem. Because it's one thing for us to say, oh, you need to eat healthy and you need to do all these things, but people literally don't have the means to do it, you know, and we're thankful for people like you and for people like, you know, in the trenches out in the community, like Jasmine Crow with Gooder, and just the work that everybody's doing.
Shout out to Jazz.
To stand in the gap, you know, and to make things happen. So as we move forward, we would love to sit down with people and talk about it.
I think that ecosystem is an interesting one. You know, part of when you talk about location, when you think about innovative ways to raise capital, I think about, you know, in Thomasville Heights, there was a store, like a co-op grocery store that was having produce and things of that nature when they talk about access. The co-op model is...
I think is it Carver Market? Is that
okay? Yeah. And you know, so there's some models out there that, and best practices associated with them. I just think that ecosystem, when it comes to just rubber meets road, capital, who's investing to make it happen, and not just for, you know, families and households. I think about, you know, even, you know, stories that, or narratives like the Gathering Spot, when you're talking about supplying, you know, good produce for even their restaurant. Right. And, you know, it's a really, really deep conversation, but you got to have champions in the space. Right?
Yeah, you do for sure. And then I just know, like, I think things are changing in a good way, and technology is really helping with that. Like you talked about innovation. And so even for like, I don't know if many people know this, but if you're a SNAP recipient or say you receive food stamps, you're able to go to local farmers markets and buy produce, but you get like double your money for it. So not only you get double your money, but the farmer gets double their money as well. So it's made possible by a nonprofit called Wholesome Wave, and basically they partner with these farmers markets to provide those services. But I feel like a lot of people don't know about it. You know, there's another one called Tangelo. And they literally give you a card, like a debit card, aside from like food stamps or whatever, to go and buy, to order groceries. You can order groceries online, because that's the thing, you know. So if I can't get to the store, we talk about food deserts. This kind of helps with that problem. So as long as, I guess, you have internet access, you can order your groceries online. And that's, it's not in Georgia yet, but hopefully it's coming soon.
I'm glad you mentioned that. You know, so like the Instacart users out there, you know, where they're, and it gets a little pricey, right? We utilize it often in our household. You know, while it's pricey, we don't have to necessarily think about going to the Publix to get everything, or, you know, worrying about what's open, when it's open. The convenience around scheduling, you know, and using, you know, innovative apps to get groceries in your household.
Yeah.
Is that something that you think is a part of the long-term strategy for you guys as well?
I think
to rephrase it, not to say you guys are going to start an Instacart, but in how you counsel your clients, right? Okay.
Yeah, no, I think it's really important. So a special project that we kind of really didn't talk about was us having, we want an app that encompasses like everything we talked about. So we wanted to have that access, the education, and the accountability piece. You know, so we talk about access, it's like, okay, well, here are programs, you know, that can help you on your journey, depending upon where you are. And then the second part, education, we want to have information for our community, and we can't leave out the piece. Like, we feel like our culture has to be a part of it, right? So we've even had the ideas about how do we get, you know, people who are a little bit more popular or in the entertainment space to talk about health, to talk about their journeys, to, you know, just help us spread this message. So that was one part of it. And then the accountability piece is just, you know, having all of what we offer like incorporated in that same app. So we're kind of working on that. That's a long-term plan. We'll need to build, you know, to raise some capital for it and all of that. But we think it'll be really cool for the community. I personally, I've seen this happen, but in other cultures, and I don't see it for us.
Yeah.
There is a cultural piece around how we eat, especially when you think about the holidays, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we kind of made light of the vegan mac and cheese. Well, I hadn't had any vegan mac and cheese. I'm looking forward to trying some. Next time y'all make a pan, just, save me some or something. I don't know. I'll figure out.
We're gonna give you the corner piece. That way we can prevent from wasting it.
I haven't perfected it yet, so don't get it from me, okay?
No, it's all good. But there's this cultural piece that when we look at what's on our plates around the holidays or at sort of ceremonies or whatever it might be, we just can't ignore the fact that I remember seeing something that was related to after someone passes at a funeral, we're eating the same food that caused them to pass away, right? And that's just being transparent for something that I saw. Like that conversation just has to be a part of the path forward. And I think for you guys as champions of that, when you think about influencers or trendsetters in the space, the only way to break norms is to create new norms. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. I think that we have to, holidays, special occasions, stuff like that, it's going to happen. Well, we need to focus on building a healthy foundation so that you can have days like that, right?
Sure.
The issue is that we're eating like that all the time. Every Sunday, every Friday night, every Thursday night, every time my grandkids come over, every time my sister, you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And that's the problem. But if we focus on eating healthy foods 80% of the time or 90% of the time, then when we do go to a Thanksgiving dinner somewhere or a Christmas dinner or my great uncle passed away, I don't feel so bad eating these black eyed peas and the green. No, I'm saying, but the funeral plates. There's always black eyed peas. I don't feel so bad about eating it. So, like Fantasia and I, we're not food Nazis. We're not gonna look at you eating a corn dog and be like, "Ugh, Greg, nah, he ain't real. He's a slug. He's killing himself." Like we're not like that.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, no, like people always do it. Like, Austin's here. I shouldn't have this piece of food. Like, no, man, enjoy yourself. We really think you should enjoy the food that you're eating, but you have to eat enough healthy food so that you can have the occasional corn dog or the funnel cake or whatever it is that you enjoy.
And I hadn't had a funnel cake in a minute, man. I instantly went back to like my Six Flag days.
Six Flag, right? Exactly.
We used to eat funnel cakes with, man. Oh my goodness. I met my funnel cake lifetime quota at like 19.
I feel you, Greg. I'm right there with you. I worked in food service at Six Flags too, so yeah.
Listen, shout out to all the old Six Flags folks. That's that old Atlanta stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But we like to keep these things right at around an hour, and I know that we're approaching that mark. And so, what I want to say is that you guys continue to inspire me, right? I think that for exactly the reason why I wanted you all to come back. And what I will share with folks is that when I had kind of the launch event for even this series back in June, Fantasia and Austin were a part of that special day. And so you guys are the second speakers from that day to come back on the virtual platform. We had Xavier Peoples with HBCU Change who plugged in as well. Shout out to Xavier and what he's doing. But I'll tell you, you continue to push the ball forward and push the conversation forward, as you all do. I think y'all are superstars, man, not just in the making. I think you guys are, because y'all both are just so congenial and y'all just got this awesome vibe and awesome energy, man. It's cool to have y'all as a part of my network, my circle of people that, when I'm scrolling through, I just laugh at y'all all the time, man. So.
We feel the same way about you, man. We appreciate you.
Sure.
No, it's all good. But anything I can do to continue to help push the narrative around building generational health as we continue to look at the ways we build other generational things. Keep doing what you're doing. I know this is a new journey, a new pivot for y'all, but I think it is such a needed and necessary conversation. And even building that ecosystem and building that narrative around it, who better to kind of build that foundation and push people forward than y'all two?
Hey, if not us, who? And if not now, when?
Indeed.
Greg's quote is, "It is up to us."
It is up to us. All day, every day. Yep.
For sure, but yeah. We really appreciate you, just in the work that you do and just continuing to, just show up. Like if we know, like if there's a need, we know that you're there, on the ground, like for real. And that's why I tell Austin, I'm like, anytime, Greg, if you ever call us for anything, like we're there.
I appreciate it. Y'all have been there. So I really, really appreciate it. And so where can folks go and find more information? What should they follow? And how can they keep in best contact with y'all?
Yep. So you can do 3 things. First, you can follow Fantasia or I on Instagram. She's the Fresh Mom, and I'm Austin.McGuffie.
MC McGuffie is MC.
Yeah, gotta spell that.
MCG. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna let you. I got you. MCGUFFIE. So Austin.McGuffie. And then the other thing you can do is go to buildinggenerationalhealth.com. And we just put a pop-up on there just today, just for anybody who's watching this. Basically, we have 9 health building principles that we follow with each of our clients. And we created a PDF. So if you go to buildinggenerationalhealth.com and you wait like 5 seconds, a pop-up will pull up on the screen and it'll say, hey, get the 9 health building principles. Just put your name and email address in and it'll automatically send it to you. And we're not gonna like blow your email up. You know, we're not gonna do none of that. You might get a couple emails.
People should expect to get some information.
Absolutely,
It's when you scrolling through, it's just like scrolling through your inbox, right? And so that website, one more time for folks, so I'll make sure they have it.
Yep. So buildinggenerationalhealth.com.
Awesome.
Yeah. And you can follow us. We have an Instagram page for that as well. It's Building Generational Health on Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. So if, we love for you guys to follow us. If you follow us on our personal pages, don't judge us for the stuff that we share. Try to keep it really transparent with you. We don't want you thinking that, marriage and parenthood is just sunshine and roses every day, but we have a lot of fun along our journey. So we try to keep it a little bit funny.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, I'm extremely proud of y'all. Continue to build the brand for the McGuffie. I won't say McGuffie clan, because that doesn't, it rhymes, it rolls, but McGuffie family, But and I'm so proud of y'all in pivoting into this new lifestyle journey around health, because it's needed and necessary for everyone that's watching and everyone that's listening. And so,
for sure.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. Enjoy the rest of your day and week. And for those folks that are watching, we appreciate y'all tuning in to Purpose Driven Pivot. Again, I'm your host, Greg Clay, and this has been another awesome episode with Austin and Fantasia McGuffie of Building Generational Health. We'll see y'all soon, and thank y'all for plugging in. We'll see y'all later.
Okay.
All right, Greg. Appreciate you.
All right, bye.